let's have a look at what's in my new book. So Introducing Figure Making, a guide to creating sugar people. That's by me. But we just start with a little bit in there about me and thanking everybody that helped me for writing the book. Now, I do need to say a big thank you to both Rob from Mr. Baker's Cakes, who helped me write the book and really came and sat and pushed me to write the words, because it takes me ages to get on with things, doesn't it? So yeah, Rob really helped with that. And also to my friend Sue, my cake friend, who was my first ever student, and she has been through this book and recreated every project to test them for me and check that I'd weighed everything out right and that everything worked according to the instructions. So yeah, that's in there. So what's in the book? So this side is projects, and this side is, it's kind of projects, but not full projects like that. So we actually start the book with a very basic figure, which is this side, before then moving on to all these different things in here, which tell you how you can recreate something in many different ways. So for example, these are the more boring bits, but if you're a beginner, they are important. We're going to look at equipment, modeling pastes, coloring paste, skin color, hair color, different things like that. I'll show you in a second. How to add figures to cakes. Then we start with the basic figure and we move on to finessing faces. So this section here, finessing faces, we're going to look at different ways to make noses, different ways to make ears, mouths, eyes. The next section, we're going to have a look at different bodies. And then we move on to the projects, which are these here. Okay, so like I say, we've already covered kind of the basic figure. Then we start with a project each for making babies. So we're going to try and look at different ages, as well as like boys and girls. But it is predominantly people in this book. You might see, you can't really see on here, it's so small. We've got the odd little dog and cat and pigeon, but it really is about people, faces, bodies, different positions, different hair. So that hopefully by the time you've done all these, you've learned enough different skills that you can recreate a figure, but with a different hairstyle or different style face, different position, different body, different clothes. But these are the projects. So like I say, starting with babies, boy and girl, in different positions, so you're learning different things. And they start more simple and they get a little bit more complicated as we go through the book as well. So then the next, we've got kind of younger children. Again, boy and girl, they're both stood up, but we tried to get them in different positions. And then the next one is, or the next two, is teenagers. So we've got a girl and a boy, again, different positions, slender bodies on these ones, different hair, wearing a cap, different clothes. So we go to adults and older people as well. So they're the projects in the book. What I'm most excited about in the book is, and a massive thank you to Duff Goldman. He wrote the foreword for me. Then, like I say, we're going to go through the equipment. And I've tried to break it down into what are essentials for me and what are optional extras, which do make your life a little bit easier, but maybe aren't necessary if you're first starting. A bit on that, a bit on using paintbrushes, what the different paintbrushes are for, looking at internal supports, different tools for different things. And then looking at what's best to make your models with as well. So throughout this book, guys, I actually use Saracino modeling paste. Obviously, you can use different things, but in here, I use the Saracino. That's what I'm used to using. You might find when you're building your projects that, you have a different drying time to what I've written in here because you're using a different paste. So just bear that in mind. Food colors, you can use whichever ones you want. I've used some Saracino ones, gel colors, and some sugar flare ones. We have a little bit of a look at how you use colors, mixing colors for your faces, hair colors. And then we look at sort of a few frequently asked questions about adding your figures to the cakes. But yeah, so there's quite a bit of information in there before you start on the project. And then for the fun bits, the projects. So like I say, we start with a basic one. Now, in each project, we do have a picture of the equipment that we're going to use, as well as the colors I've used and the weight of each bit of paste. And then we've got templates. Now, I did put the templates in each project as you're going along, then it's near where you're working rather than you going to the back. And then, of course, we've got step-by-step instructions. And then we've got the odd section highlighted that's like an important note or hints and tip just to help you. Also, we've put a few things in of how not to do things. So the basic figure, we look at the standing one, and then we also do a version that's sat down. And then we're going to move on to, obviously, the different faces themselves and what really makes a face more baby-like, childlike, adult-like, or more mature. And then we look at creating different face shapes, different noses, mouths. So this is what to do, not to do. This is part of the body section, looking at different sort of sized bodies, different head heights, that kind of thing, how people grow as they get older, how they change. But it's all very cartoony in this book as well, guys. So we're not really going for realistic figures. Again, looking at different body shapes, because like I say, you might want to swap them out in the projects that we've got for a different one you've seen earlier on. And then we move on to the projects. So the rest of the book then is devoted to our actual projects. We've got 2 projects in there for these. One's on a sofa with cats and the other is on a park bench with pigeons.
It's a big book.
It is a very big book. We tried to put a lot of steps in, and the lady's in the red dress, which is the one that most people have been interested in.
Yeah, he's my favourite.
I like the lady that's blowing the bubble gum. This one's my favourite one. Every project has got what I used, a little photo as well as the list. So we're going to do little beach girl there. So she's on there. There's our baby on the cloud. The only thing it is missing is, you know, sometimes books have a little string bookmark that's attached. It didn't come with a string bookmark.
I'm going to throw a few questions.
Yes, you can throw some questions at me.
What is the price of the book?
So it's the RRP is £45. I'm just looking at what it says now on there. We sell it for £40.
Are the bride and grooms in the book?
No.
We started book 2.
No. Richard was like, "You're never writing a book again, ever, ever, ever." Can you imagine it? I'll be like retired before I get my second one out. But yeah, so that is the book. So like I say, thank you to Sue for practicing all the projects for me. For years, Sue has been saying, "Zoe, I've made all those figures and I really want to share pictures of what I've made online." And I was like, "Sue, you can't until the book comes out." And she's just going to be so happy now that she can share figures.
Look at this like cute little setup Zoe's built herself.
All pile up some parts. I want to say a really big thank you to everybody that has purchased the book. I've been loving seeing what you guys have been making.